Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining another webinar. So, most of us are from first generation in this country, and most of us are from South Asia or mostly from India. And many of us assume that things work in the same way in this country, just like as in India. And until the last minute, right, whether it is related to will and trust or whether it is related to kids' college education or there are so many things for retirement planning until last minute we will be assuming that it will be same and we will be not planning well ahead. So that's the reason to really share some information which is very very important for every family to know in this country, right? Because as Indians or South Asians, we love our kids so much. We want them to be settled in a very nice positions to do great things in the life. Whether we our parents did in the same way, right? Whether they enjoy the life or not, they will do everything for their kids. We are also in the same way. We want our kids to do the best. They want to have a best life. And I am a licensed state professional in licensed state financial professional, and I'll be sharing some of the information which is very very important for every family. So, right, let us start like to understand why is it really needed, because in this country we see that many of them not even even though they don't have a graduation or something, they can get a job, right? In India, definitely a graduation is something which is mandatory for most of the jobs. But here, even if they just complete a school, also they can get jobs or they can make some wages. But why college graduation is important? Why college education is important? Because on average, a high school graduate who just completes a high school, they make approximately 42,851 per annum. Whereas if someone completes a bachelor's degree, the average pay is approximately 80,000 per annum. Whereas if you complete a professional degree, not only just bachelor's degree, but you're also doing some masters, doing some specialization, then the average salary is approximately 156K. So again, right, we all want our kids to be settled well. So for our community or for South Asian community, we don't need to understand why college education is important, because we all generally focus on education aspect. But again, if someone is not from a South Asian community, I wanted to share why college education is important. And also, right, we know AI is booming like anything, and inflation is going up like anything. A lot of companies started layoffs, whether it is something like a COVID type of scenario, or whether it is inflation, or whether some new technology is coming up and taking away all the jobs. The most risk is for the students or for kids with a just a high school diploma, right? In COVID situation, they had approximately 22% unemployment who just completed their school education, but did not do any college graduation. So if our education is better, right? If our kids completes college graduation, the chances of losing a job is low compared to someone who just completed a school education. You can see that the unemployment rate for a college graduate is 1.9% on average, whereas for a school, right, who just completed school diploma is uh, 3.6. Someone even without completing their high school, it is over 5% on average, right? Uh, it, it can differ based on the scenarios, but on average, these are the figures. So if we want to retain our jobs, retain the employment, uh, if we want to be employed, then having a college graduation is very, very important. Then again, right, what are the average salaries? Which branch has more demand nowadays? if our kids get into which streams, there is a right where their starting salaries can be better, right? The choice of college major also has significant impact on their standard of living and how they can start. So again, as we all know, technology is where, right, whether it is medicine or whether it is engineering field or whatever field you take, technology is needed, right? Most of us are here because of the technology, because of completing some btechs or mcas, because of having that computer knowledge is which brought many of us to this country. So that is where there is a lot of demand, right? Especially artificial intelligence, Python, right? These technologies are booming like anything. So if your kids are interested into those areas, into the artificial intelligence, that is where, right, all the robotics, that is where the most of the jobs will be. So that is where the salaries, the starting salary on average is 81,202 for a computer science graduate. If someone is doing a civil engineering or mechanical engineering, some other, right, other than technology, they can expect a starting salary of 71,000. If someone is doing from math and stats, it is like approximately 68,000, right? Business, if they are doing, right, these are starting salaries. There are certain professions like medicine, health sciences, which starts low. Maybe they may go much higher than the technology after few years, but for technology graduates, the starting salaries will be much better compared to other work streams. Again, this is for your information, right? So again, if your kids are interested, right, I'm not saying that we should force everyone, all our kids to get into technology, but if they are interested into technology, definitely computer science, and especially into AI, robotics. Those are some fields which are booming like anything, which will replace a lot of manual jobs, right? Lot of development which is going on, and or a lot of testing jobs, or a lot of content writing. Lot of those things will be replaced by artificial intelligence. But again, even to develop those artificial intelligence tools, or we should also know how to use the search better to retrieve proper results from this chat gpt or whatever it is. So 5 manual jobs will be replaced by one person who is expert, who can right, use the proper search terms, who can use these artificial intelligence tools and get the job done quickly. So again, if your kids are interested, definitely computer science is where there is a lot of demand. There is a lot of job openings and a lot of opportunities in the coming. Again, all this information is not my own information, but the source is National Association of College and Employers salary survey, based on the 2022 details. And then, right, we all know, right, especially since last year, we heard about inflation, right, how the expenses are going up. Mhm. The apparel is where, right, the inflation is very low compared to a lot of other things, right? Apparel is like our dressing and cars. We saw approximately 76% inflation from 1983. Coffee, 138%, and gas, nearly 200%. Housing, approximately 220%. Medical care, right, is another area where which is going up like anything, 468% increase compared to, right, that is a cumulative percentage change since 1983. That means nearly 40 years we have 468. That means on average 10 to 11% increase year on year. So that is one more area which many of us neglect, and I will do a session on how important it is to take care of the medical expenses, or right, because whatever we save for 10 to 20 years can be just gone with one medical issue here, right, in this country, especially if we don't have proper insurance, or if we don't have proper plans to take care of such medical issues. All our savings will be gone. Whatever we spent all this 10, 20 years, leaving all our friends, parents, everyone in this country, will be gone with just one, right, one problem, one issue. and we never know these problems, right? These problems will not give a intimation, and then, right, they will appear suddenly. Somebody who is right, I saw many of my clients where they got a perfect rating of preferred plus, and then within a month or two, some of them got diagnosed with cancer, right? So these medical issues will not, right, somebody might be very healthy, very strong, doing all the exercises, doing everything properly without any bad habits, can suddenly impacted with some medical issue. And we right, every day we see those GoFund meetings and those things. So it is very important to take care of medical care where the inflation is so much. Inflation is nearly 10% on average. And out of all these things, the area where there is huge inflation, right, even compared to medical care or housing, the education expenses is going up like anything. 861% increase in 40 years, right? Again, this is from BLS Consumer Price Index, JP Morgan Asset Management information, right? It is not my own numbers, but this is from JP Morgan company, which is one of the number one companies for asset management. So 861% is approximately, right, 20% inflation in education expenses, in college education expenses each and every year. So, right, why there is such big growth? Because colleges are receiving lower and lower financial support from the states, right? We all know, right? We, if you are into stocks or other things, you know about how, right, the uh, we heard about government getting into the scenarios where they were in big issues. They had to increase their budgets for spending, right? We had a lot of issues in previous months. So the government is reducing the whether it's grants or whether it is loans, whatever it is, they are reducing it. So because of which students or parents have to pay more and more for their college expenses. So that's why there is a huge inflation, huge increase in the cost of, right? Even if you see, like when we studied our, even in India, when we studied, we might have paid maybe, right, in school, for schools we might have paid 50 rupees, 100 rupees maximum per month. For colleges, we might have paid 1,000, 2,000 rupees per annum for even for our inter or degree. Now, if you compare in India, even for a primary school, they are right. We can see our friends or cousins living there. They are paying lakhs of rupees even for schooling. If you see for college, right, Chaitanya or whatever inter colleges, they are paying lakhs and lakhs. For engineering, medicine, you have to pay 30 to 40 lakhs. So it is not just US. Across the globe, the expenses which we are spending on education, on college graduation is going up like anything, right? So don't think it is only in US, it is everywhere. Whether even if we have to go back to India, we have to take care of the planning for, because we all want our kids to be graduated or post graduated, and we want them to be settled well. We don't want them to just complete their schooling and then do some small jobs or some odd jobs. So, but that is the area where there is lot of inflation, huge expenditure. Are we, right? Are we aware of these facts? Right? Do we know that we have these type of expenses coming ahead? Are we planning well ahead, or do we want to surprise when they are in their high schools, when they are, right, ready to go to college in a year or two? Do we want to get surprised at that point of time, right? That's what I want everyone to understand, how much expenses are involved in the college education, right? Again, if you see, right, we saw like why college education is important, and we saw how the inflation is going on. It is also important for each of us to understand how much it will cost if someone is approximately 18 years old. For a public, right, you have in-state colleges, or they may go to out of state, right? For example, if someone is want to go to Harvard, or someone wants to go to some other college in a different state, the expenses will be much more compared to if you are staying in some state for more than, right, 5 years or so. Then basically your kid, right, if your kid goes to the same college within the same state, they are considered as in-state. But if they are going out, right, and we are in a situation where you cannot demand your kid to go to a certain college, right? You cannot say that, for example, if they are getting a seat in some very good college, right? Because we are not financially, uh, we didn't do our planning properly. We cannot ask them to, no, you don't go to that college, come and join in this local college where fees is cheap, right? We don't want to ruin our kids' life. So if someone is 18 years old, if they go to a in public, right, public college or in state, approximately the expenses are, right, around 100K for a 4 years education, right? Approximately 25K per annum if they are 18 years old today. If they are going to out of state, it is approximately 230K, right? Nearly more than the double. And if someone is 16 years old, right, because there is inflation, right? We have inflation, so you cannot think that, okay, because today it is 100K, then after 4 years also it will be 100K. Every year there is inflation, there is a, right, whether their boarding expenses, their college fees, or their all the expenses are going up. So if someone is 16 years old, they have to spend approximately 110K within the same state. They have to spend 253K out of the state. If someone is, like, let us take 6 years old, we are looking at approximately 180K for their education and 455K if it is out of state for a private college or out of state. So are we, right? If somebody is newborn, then we are looking for approximately, today if it costs 230K, after 15 to 18 years, it will approximately cost 550K or more for a out of state. So, right, this is 81% of the families have to rule out some colleges because of the cost, right? Well, even though they may be very talented, they may get the best GPAs, they may get the best SAT, ACT, PSAT scores, but if we are not properly planning ahead, they may have to, right, settle down in a local college, right? And they will be cursing us for entire life, right? Because, and we don't want our kids also to go and do some work in McD or somewhere, right? We want them to focus on education. We want them to, minimum, we want them to help for their, right, minimum first 2 years of education, 3 years of education, because our parents did in that way. We want to continue the same thing. So we we have to understand the expenses involved. We have to understand the amount of inflation involved with the college education. We have to understand how much we have to start saving for our kids from now itself. If they are approximately 10 years old, how much it may cost when they go to college. If they are 6 years old, how much it may cost when they go to college. If they are newborn, how much it may cost. So this is the, right, importance for this slide, so that you have to understand and you need to start planning from now itself. You cannot start planning when they are in a high school, because that is already too late, right? If they are 15 or 16 years old, and if you start planning, you cannot save 50K, right, 50K or 100K for their education in, if they, when they are 15 or 16. But you can save $200, $300 aside for each kid when they are 3 years old, 4 years old. So it is very, very important to start planning well ahead, to understand how much is involved, how much expenditure is involved, why it is needed, and start doing that planning from now itself. And again, why the college cost is going up, as I already mentioned, the cost is going up and the financial aid, right, that is going down. If you see 2013 to 2021-22, the 18,390 college fee increased to approximately 22,690 per annum. Whereas the financial aids which government was giving from $185, it went to $174. That means the grants or the scholarships are going down, and the fee is going up each and every year, because of which there is a huge inflation with the college expenditure. And what is the average outstanding college loan balances? If you see, right, if you again see this slide, you can see that student loan in 2005, the average loan was $370 billion in 2005, whereas in 2022 it became nearly 330% more, right? 4 times faster than the college cost. It is $1.59 trillion, which is the debt balances, right? For auto loans, it is nearly 95% more. For credit cards, 24% more. On the home equity line, we are actually paying our home loans, everything on time. It is going down. But with college, because again, the reason why there is that much outstanding balances, because we are not well prepared. We are first generation in this country. We don't know how much it will cost. We are not prepared until last minute. And at that point of time, again, we may like borrow from some friends, some relatives. We may have to sell our properties, and still that may not be sufficient. So that's why the outstanding balances, outstanding loans are going up each and every year. So we don't want anyone in our community to be in that situation where they are not planning well ahead, and they are not ready to send their kids to one of the best colleges. Again, how do we pay for colleges, right? On average, again, based on Sally May's right pie chart, 31% of the fee is paid using grants and scholarships, right? There are various, I'll be sharing information on how to get these, what are the various websites to get some of these grants and scholarships. But 31% of the overall fee is paid through the whatever scholarships or grants kids get it. Again, if we are on visas, H1, H4, it is much more difficult for citizens, right? There are many scholarships which can help us to some extent, right? Again, based on a lot of factors, they decide whether they get the grant or scholarships. But if if they are on H4s, uh, again, right? Once they turn 21, they have to change to F1. They cannot be H4 anymore. So it is like out of state or out of country. They are treated like international students. Their fee will be much, right? Lot more compared to the citizens or green card holders. So that is one more major risk we are taking, right? Because they cannot be dependents anymore once they cross 21. So we also need to consider if they are going for medicine or something which may take 6 to 8 years of education, 10 years of education. You have to count that also, right? Whatever figures I have shown is mainly for in state or out of state. But if they are like on F1, those expenses might be a lot more, because they have to change from H4 to F1 once they cross 21. They cannot be anymore depend on a dependent visa. So again, the right grants and scholarships approximately 31%. Student borrowing, right? Students borrowing the money, again, from our community, we generally don't do it, but in some communities they do, where kids will take the loans. Then parent borrowing is approximately 10%. Student borrowing is 14%. Parents' income and savings, right? Whatever we saved throughout the life, nearly 30% of it, right, of the fee will be paid from our income and savings. And student income and savings, right? They're doing jobs within the university, within the campus, another 13%. And then 2% of the fee paid through taking loans from relatives and friends. So these are various ways, right? Mostly the college fee is paid as on today, right? Because of lack of proper financial education, financial planning, not understanding how much cost is involved, not understanding how much inflation is involved in the college education. So, right, as I mentioned, there are different ways, right? The grants and scholarships is one of the major part or major split. where some of it can be paid off using these grants and scholarships. So let us look into each of those things, right? And also various other strategies which can help our kids to get into some top colleges and complete their education from some top universities. So what do you mean by this financial aid, right? There are two different types of financial aid. One of them is called grants and scholarships, where the kids don't, right? Kids or parents don't need to pay it back to the government. Then we also have loans. We can also take loans where we have to pay back with interest. These grants are typically need based. That means only really, right? They look at all the annual salary, all your net worth, all those things. And based on if they see really there is a need, and if they are really talented, if they have really good GPAs, they have good SAT, ACT scores, and if they don't have a visa issues, such type of things, then kids may get grants. Whereas scholarships are, so grants are more based on the financial conditions, whereas scholarships are more based on the merit based. So these two, uh, right, our kids can take advantage of those grants and again, right, when we see our financial status compared to a lot of other families in this country, generally we are, right, not at the lowest level, right? There are many families making less than 50K, 60K. We are not below 50K or 60K annual household income. So that need based is also very, very difficult for our kids, right? Unless we are below 50K per annum, they may not get these grants. Our kids might be eligible for scholarships because generally most of our kids are good in education or good with right good, they will have good GPAs comparatively, so they may get some of the scholarships, but they may not get majority of the grants. And loans, yeah, we may get loans, but we have to remember that we have to pay interest rates, right? We have to repay them, and also we have to pay interest on them. So what are the, right? US federal government provides some of these grants and scholarships. They also provide loans, whereas state universities, they provide grants and scholarships. Their colleges, they do grants and scholarships. There are some non-profit and private organizations. They also give these grants and scholarships. Then banks, credit unions, they provide private loans, right, for kids college education. Again, if we are on visa situation, if kids are on H4, then even receiving those grants and scholarships will become much more difficult, right? Our only option is private loans. If we are on visa, if you are a citizen, if your kid is a citizen, there is a possibility that they may be eligible for certain, again, grants is difficult because of our financial status, but scholarships, it is possible. From, it can be from the government, it can be from the states, it can be from the colleges, it can be from the non-profit or private organizations, right? Again, I'll share some websites where you can find information. I'll also give you more details like how kids can get better scholarships and all those things in the future sessions. But right, this session I want to give a high level overview because this is one area which has the most risk, and we are least plan, right, we have least planning for this area because we think like, right, because in India when we got education, the fee was very low, so we think like, okay, our kids also, and also because generally schooling is free, right? So that's why we feel like, okay, college also may not be that much expensive, or maybe, so whatever we saved in the schooling, all that they will collect it during the college. But that many of us miss that point, and we will not be well planned for their college. So this is one, right, one way where, right, one way where our kids can uh, pay some of their college fee, either with the scholarships or with the grants or with the loans. So these are different sources. These are, right. So we have to fill various forms like FAFSA and all those things, which I'll be sharing in the future sessions. But these are some various websites like fafsa.gov or studentaid.gov or college, right? Collegeboard.org. So these are some of the important websites which will help us to get some of those grants or scholarships or to get the loans or to understand how much 529 plans for our state, how much we need to pay. These are some of the links I pasted here, right? For college preparation, what type of information is needed? For 529, what type of information is needed is those in those two links. Whereas for financial aids, what type of right websites can give us that information? And for grants and scholarships, like fastweb.com or petersons.com or finaad.org or goingmerry.com, these are some of the important websites or very useful websites which will help us to know whether our kids will be eligible for any of the grants or scholarships for their college, right? And then, right, one is receiving these grants, scholarships, or paying through loans. These are some of the ways where we can pay for the college funding. Those are some of the options. In addition to that, there are few more options, right? Like 529 education plan, or we have UGMA, UTMA custodial account. We have Coverdell education savings account. We have few more alternate strategies, right? As I mentioned, like even you can right, especially during recession time, even you can save on some quality stocks, right? Whether it is Tesla or Nvidia or right Google or Amazon, you can do, right? Again, you are not doing a swing or day trading, but positional trading where you can save for next 10 years. Yeah, you won't touch it. You will not be impacted by ups and downs in a daily time frame, or right, you are not looking at the charts on a day-to-day basis. So that is also one good strategy where you invest into some quality stocks, right? Let me quickly show you, right? For example, let me go to, right, Tesla. So around May time frame, right? You are looking on a daily or weekly time frames. You are buying it somewhere here. So from May to approximately now, we are nearly 100% up on Tesla, right? So, or you look at a weekly time frame. So approximately, right, around $100, it gave a buy, and we are nearly $260 to $270 now, right? Let us look at Amazon, right? You are doing your savings on a higher time frame. So we are not looking at a 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute time frames and doing our saving. If you see Amazon, there was a buy at around $80, right? Last year, because of recession and all those things, everything got sold off. Recession is the best time to do your investments, long-term investments. We got a buy here somewhere in January from 80 to 130, nearly 60-70% up. Or let us look at CRM, right? From $130, we got a buy, and now we are around $226. So you can see any stock, right? Let us look at Nvidia around somewhere October time frame. We got a buy. There was a small sell from October from $120. We are nearly $450 now in last 6 months. So investing into some quality stocks for long term, especially when there is a recession, when there is a bearish movement on a higher time frame. If you look at right on weekly or monthly time frames, doing long term investments, right? You see Meta, right? When was Meta from $88? It is $320, $330 from October time frame, from October to now. So those recession periods are great way to invest for long term for our kids, right? Again, you you should not worry about on a day to day whether it is going up or going down, but it went down so much and now you can see that it is nearly at 330, right? Nearly 400% growth in last 6 months. So investing into some quality companies, quality stocks during recession, during a bad phase, you don't need to invest all money at one time. Even if you invest some $200 each month, $200 here, $200 here, $200 here, $200 here, the dollar cost averaging might have helped you to increase your savings by over 100%, right? So I can show you, right, any number of examples, right? You see AMD from nearly $60, it is over $120. So there are some top companies where uh, I think you may not be seeing. Right, yeah. I think you should be able to see now. So if we are on a higher time frames and you are right, we got a buy somewhere here and we are like approximately 100% up on AMD. If you see Meta, we got a buy somewhere here around $90. Now it is nearly over $300 in last 6 months. Nvidia from 108 to 460, $470. Right, we got a small sell here. Again, we got a buy here, right, in January, and now we are in July. So, right, this is one more way. So one way is depending on the scholarships, grants, or loans. Second way is investing into some quality companies, quality stock. Again, by looking at the long term, right? Long term investment. You are not looking on a profits for day to day basis, but you are looking at on a weekly charts or monthly charts and doing a buy and then saving it for 3 years, right? Within 6, 7 months, because last year was so bad, everything went down so much. And then from November, December, January, everything started going up. So this is one more way or one more option for you to save. Again, there are some companies like, let us say, right, yeah, even IBKR went up from $50 to nearly $90. CRM went from $130, right? Again, all these things are from December. So, right, that is one more option where you invest into some quality stocks for long term, right? You may ask like, okay, how do we know when to buy, when to sell? Again, right, we have a long term stocks option where we are just like, again, you are buying for long term. You are going to save for 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years, where your investment may be 300 to 400, 500% up compared to what where you are buying, right? If you don't have a lot of money, you basically buy one Nvidia stock every month, right? Again, don't buy, right? What we do is we will be panicking around this time and we will be buying when it is close to the, right, close to the resistance. Somewhere at the top we buy, and then immediately there will be some bad news. So that's what buying, where it is close to the, right, buy low, sell high. Whereas we'll be doing the opposite, whether it is real estate or stocks or whatever it is, we'll be doing opposite. We'll be buying at the top and selling at the lowest price. So it is important to identify the proper, right, on a higher time frame chart, look at where they are, and then, right, still there is little more potential for CRM. It may go up to 270 to $80 and then drop, but we nearly from 120, it is nearly 220 to $30, right? So that is where we missed out. But again, these opportunities will come. If not, On CRM, there are many other stocks which are still, right? For example, PLTR. If you see PLTR, it is just starting, right? From $8. It still moved, but still it may go to approximately $25. Or NEO, it is just starting now. So from $8, it moved to $12. There's a potential it may go to $20. Again, don't invest all money at one time on one stock, but doing that, right? Dollar cost averaging. Put $100 every month into Tesla, or put $100 into Amazon, put $100 into Nvidia. Like that, invest using these higher time frames where, right, it will be beneficial on the long term, right? All these Amazon, Google, they are not right, hundreds or thousands of dollars from day one, right? All of them started with $5, $10, and now they are like, we know how they moved up, how many times they did the split, how many times it went to thousands of dollars, and then again they did a split. So it is right. It is one of the options, right? I am not saying that you should put all your money into stocks, but always diversify, right? Because if you put all your money into stocks and suddenly there is like whatever happened last year, then we will be right in a we'll be worried about all our savings that it went down so much. But if you are doing dollar cost averaging, if you are doing right, and you are buying at a low and selling at a high on a higher time frames like weekly or monthly, then we will be in a better shape. Then again, going back to our other options, as I mentioned, there are a lot of other options where you can save on to 529 plans. What do you mean by 529 plans? This is similar to our 401k, right? Just like we have 401k plans, where we are saving our money, tax-free money, for our employment, right? From our salary, every month some amount is deducted for our 401k. Sometimes employers are matching with that. And whenever we retire, we can take that tax deferred money, right? So now we are saving the taxes, but later whenever we withdraw that, we'll pay the taxes, right? In the same way, just like we have an option for our employment, in the same way for kids also, we can do a tax-free investing based on if they are going into college for all their college expenses, educational expenses, we can use that amount for their education. So 529 education plan, where there are certain states which provide the tax breaks. There are no income limits on the contributions, right? Even whether you are making 200k or 250k, you can still do that, and you can do annual contribution of 170,000 per beneficiary. For each kid, you can do 170k, and account owner control for the life of the account, right? You can have full control, and assets are removed from the taxable estate. Uh, and the impact on financial aids, whether by investing into 529, whether do you receive all the financial grants and scholarships, you will still, right? There is an impact, but it may not be huge impact. There is a low impact on your grants and scholarships if you have invested in 529 plans. In the same way, you have custodial accounts, Coverdell education, and you have a lot of other various strategies which can be used for the kids' college education. Right? Again, it differs from every family to family, right? Based on your financial situation, based on kids' age, based on which state you are living, because for every state, 529 plan has different rules. There are tax implications in certain states. There are right to state tax breaks in certain states. There are no breaks in certain states. And also for custodial accounts, there are certain limitations. For Coverdell education, there are certain limitations in certain states. So what we can do is we can do a one-on-one with each of the families to understand your kids' current age, your financial situation, and what might be the best, right? 529 might be best for some families. right? There are some alternate strategies which can be best for some families. There can be, right? Again, no, right? Don't put all your money into one, right? Don't put all your money into stocks. Don't put all your money into crypto. Don't put, right? Even though Bitcoin is at a low price, it is going up. It went nearly 50% up this year. But investing everything into one is not a good option. So always you have to diversify into 2 or 3 different vehicles. So even though if one of the vehicle is not doing good, right? 2022 very bad period for stocks or crypto, all the investments. But 2023 again, it's a good year. So 1 year something may be good, or some strategy might be good during certain period. Certain strategies might be good during some other period. So when you diversify your savings into multiple blocks instead of investing everything into one, if you diversify them into 3 or 4 different categories, different buckets, even though if one of them is not doing good, if other 3 are doing good, we will be green, right? But putting everything into one bucket is where again we make a lot of mistakes, lot of right, where we feel like, oh, we lost 60%, 70%, we lose our sleep because of putting all the money into one bucket, right? That is what we can do again, right? There are a lot of slides to share, right? But I know, right? Right, 529 or Coverdell, I have a lot of information, but again, based on each family and each kid's education, all those things, what I want to do is I want to basically do a separate one-on-one sessions with each family who are interested. You can send a mail to me, kishore.ramaraju@gmail.com, and me or my team. I have 100 plus professionals, licensed professionals in my team who can help across USA. So they will sit with you. They will understand your financial situation, your kids' current ages, your how much you can save per month, right? Because if you can save some $2,000, $3,000, you may put some amount into some good long-term stocks. You may put some amount into 529. You may put some amount into something else, right? If you can only save $200 per month, your strategy might be different. So it's not one solution will fit for everyone. There are so many different ways, right? As I mentioned, it can be financial aid, uh, it can be 529 plans, it can be IUL plans, it can be investing into some good quality long-term stocks. So there are so many different ways we can do. We can plan for your kid's college education or for your medical expenses. So, right, instead of because there is no generic solution, one way to do it, we can. I hope you all got the overall, right, why college education is important and um, why it is very important for us to understand how the cost is going up each and every year, and what are the on a high level, what are the various sources available, right? Scholarships, grants, scholar loans, or it can be 529 plans, or it can be investing into good quality long-term stocks, or right, um, you have UGMA custodial accounts, you have Coverdell education savings accounts, but um, there is no one single solution generic for everyone. So you can set up a one-on-one meeting, or you can request for a one-on-one free consultation where we will work with you, understand what is your current scenario, how old are your kids, based on how much time you have available for them before they enter into the college. We can suggest you certain strategies, and then you can plan accordingly, right? In that way, right? Even I hope some of you got right information which is needed, or which you might have missed earlier. You might have not planned earlier on, like what are the various websites which are important for grants and scholarships. What are some websites which are important for college savings plans, for college preparation, right? Or what are the high level what are the options we have, right? How this UGMA, UTMA will work, or how 529 plans will work, or how the long-term stocks investing is a better way, right? So again, I don't want to take too much of time, but you can schedule those calls. You can request for those calls. We will, based on the availability, we will schedule, and we will, based on your situation, your kids, your how much you can save, what is your current age of your kids, how many years still they have to get into the college. Based on that, we can suggest you some multiple solutions, and you can, right, if you feel whatever is good for you, whatever you think is good, we can get with those things. So minimum, right, it might be late for some of you already. Some of your kids might be already over 7 years, 8 years, 10 years old, or 12 years old, but something is better than nothing, right? Instead of panicking when they are ready for college, when they are 17 or 18 or 19, it is better minimum you start now, right? We don't have a lot of time. If your kids are newborn, then you are at the best time, right? That is the best time, because if you have more time, you have the compounding effect. If you start saving $300, $200 per month, it will suddenly grow to a 300K or 400K, which is needed for their education, right? You cannot start planning when they are 16 or 17 and expect to grow to 400, 500K within a year. Because I know, right, most of our jobs are somewhere ranging between 100K to 200K, or 70K to 200K. We cannot, our expenses are also like that. If we are making 150K, our house loans, EMIs, all those things, right? Most of our expenses, with one India trip, everything will be gone. All your savings for the year are gone. So it is, right, it is very, very important to start planning and start keeping some money aside for kids education is very, very important. And in that 101 session, we can do proper, right, proper consultation, and we can, again, it's a free session. You don't need to pay anything to us to do that one-on-one session, where we look at your current scenario and we suggest you what is best for you, right? Instead of investing into one domain, or one single bucket, we can suggest you 2 or 3 different ways where you can start saving for your kids education. Hope, right, hope you got some information, right? Let me put my email again, kishore.ramaraju@gmail.com. Right, I will, so I have around 100 plus licensed agents across USA. So either me or one of my experienced team members will contact you, and they will do one-on-one session. Everyone is a licensed agent, so any information you share about your salary, about your savings, everything will be kept confidential. And then, yeah, right, we will suggest you what is best for you to do for your kids education. Right, make sure, right, don't delay anymore, because again, we are here to give best life for our family, for our kids, leaving everyone in India, but because of lack of information, we miss out on certain things, and by the time we realize, it is too late. So yeah, please start planning from now. Right, yeah, thanks everyone. Have a great rest of the weekend, and talk to you one-on-one.